What is going on, YouTube? I'm Brandon. You are back in the Gill Strap Garage after quite a long time. We've got I don't know what year Softail this is, 103, and we're getting ready to do a cam in it. I've got everything prepped, ready to start pulling the cam chest. I'm a little limited on time this morning. I've only got about an hour before I have to pause, take care of some other things. I got my brother, my sister-in-law, my niece, and my nephew coming into town today. So I'm gonna do what I can. I think I can probably get the cam chest out of there, set it off to the side, and get ready to put this thing back together tomorrow, maybe Monday. So let's get into it. So like I said, I've already got the exhaust and the floorboard pulled. That'll give me access to everything. I'm hoping I can do this without having to pull anything off the intake. All we're gonna be doing is cutting out the push rods. We're not gonna pull the top end apart. We got S&S Quickie push rods. Makes the job so much easier. I can charge a little bit less. That being said, the parts are a little bit more. I'm gonna put a little piece of cardboard under here to keep the frame somewhat dry, not get all this oil dumped on it. Let's start going. Oh, another thing too, I also already have the spark plugs pulled on the other side, which is going to be an important step. I'll explain why when we get there. There we go. Let's kind of let that drip for a minute. We can get into our push rods right now. So you can just take a flathead screwdriver, pry that off. Our new kit comes with all new pushrod tubes. Okay, so we're just gonna, should just be able to wiggle these a little bit, slide them up. All right, so check it out. Well, I'm gonna go put this thing in 6th gear. You wanna put it in the highest gear that you can. I've got my back tire off the ground. I've got my spark plugs removed to relieve compression, and I've got it in 6th gear for the least resistance on the motor. And what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna wait for one of these cylinders to go into overlap, meaning one valve is opening and one valve is closing almost simultaneously. And that's gonna mean that the other cylinder is on the base circle of the cam. There's not gonna be any tension on those push rods, and that's gonna be critical for the next step. So it's kind of hard to see on video, but right now I have the front cylinder on overlap, meaning the rear is on the base circle. And why that's critical is because I'm about to cut these push rods out, and I don't want there to be any tension on this, on those valve springs, because something can pop, something can bend, can twist. So we're just gonna get some bolt cutters, which is the cleanest way to do it. kind of suck. It wasn't a very clean break. There we go. So push rod's out. Let's get that little piece out of there. And the reason you want to use bolt cutters and not a grinder is this isn't going to make a big metal mess. You're not going to get a bunch of little flakes inside of your engine here. Nice and easy like that. And now for checking when the rear goes into overlap, all you got to do is kind of put your fingers on the lifters in there. So exhaust is opening, exhaust is closing, intake's opening and closing. Now the front is in overlap. And you guys can see how quick that was. If you don't want to buy the quickie push rods, then you're gonna have to either pull or lift your tank, pull your rocker covers, pull your rocker assemblies, pull the push rods out the top. This saves a ton of time. Now on the downside, I don't get to go in there and inspect anything. I don't get to look at the springs. I don't get to change the breathers. I don't get to do any of that. But I've already gone through all that with the customer. He's fine with this. Like I said, saves him some money on my end. Parts are a little bit more expensive, but all in all, it's not too bad. You typically don't see a lot going on in the top here. It is good to change those breather elements out, but for what we're trying to accomplish, these quickie push rods are our best bet. And the quickies are great for serviceability as well. You know, before I do anything else, pulling this cam chest, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I'm going to take off all these tappet covers. These long ball end Allen sockets are really convenient for doing these because when you get up to the cylinder side, you can get in there. It's kind of a tight space, so this gives you a little bit of an opportunity to angle these a little bit. That bolt feels terrible. Yeah, we're gonna have to clean all these holes. It's a good idea anyway, but and I think we're gonna be replacing this one because I just stripped it. God dang it. Can't get these channel locks in here in a way that's actually going to bite these. I know they're backwards. But I don't want to damage the coating on that. Okay, here's what we'll do. We'll knock it loose and see if we can rotate it around a little bit. Might give us a little more room there. What to do, what to do. Take off the other side and deal with that one after, I don't know. That's a freaking bummer, dude. All right, that one's out. Gasket out. Lock is out. Exhaust lifter's out. Intake lifter's out. Okay. Now let's deal with this broken bolt. Or strip bolt, whatever you want to call it. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna have to bring my extractors home from work. So let's pull our lock. Exhaust. Man, what is all this crap in there? Intake. All right, now we're going to break our tensioner loose. Oh, come on. Why are you going to be that tight?
Dad,
Yes, love.
my tire's a little bit flat.
Okay, I'll air it up later. Doesn't feel good. Nope, I don't like the way that feels at all. Ah, there we go. Holy hell. Okay, tensioner's off. Now we need a 1/2 inch and a 9/16 to buzz those off. Dead battery. Awesome. They do have a lock for those, and I might have one for this engine somewhere. I think my 88-inch one stripped. Alright, let's get these gears off. We will be reusing those. We'll probably need a new spacer for the cam gear here. Actually, no, sorry, this spacer here. With the new cam, your spacing changes. I should have a handful of these kits laying around. So basically you gotta pull 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts. I'm gonna crack them loose. And now, it should just pop right out. Oh, come on now. It's a little cold out this morning. Everything's a little stiff. There we go. There it is. There's my cam assembly. This drain, like I said, I gotta walk away from it. Tomorrow or Monday, we will replace the cams. We'll check our run out. We'll get this stupid broken bolt out of here, and we'll get everything thrown back together. I'll show you what we got, what kind of cam we're working with, and we'll be ready to roll. I've been trying at this bolt for a minute. I can't get it. Oh, looked right at it. Damn it. Oh. Hopefully that's a good enough weld there. I'm gonna put a wrench on it quick, but I'll probably let it cool.
Don't wear any shoes at all. Quit crying.
No, it's coming. What a friggin' nightmare. Alright, we're gonna check run out on this real quick. Starting at 0. 1, 2, about 3 thousandths. Man, that's really dialed for a later twin cam. You going on a bike ride?
No, just right here.
Oh, okay. I just aired those tires up too. That is dialed. 3 thou. Let's pull this and let's rip out our cam bearings. I just realized I'm not going to be able to finish this tonight because I forgot my dang snap ring pliers. And that's kind of essential for pulling the cam apart. This is why I don't go too crazy in this business anymore, because it's a lot of that stuff. All my tools are at work, and I don't quite have what I need to do this stuff really fast and efficient. Make sure I got the right size puller here. Yes, sir. Put this in here to spread it out. Locked.
At school, her heart was beeping real fast. I mean, on the playground, and I was like, it was beeping real fast. She's like, yeah, I'm like, why? She's like, I don't know, maybe I was gonna die. Mom, do you wanna play? Yeah.
That kid's nuts.
Beeping.
It's beeping real fast. That was my problem. I had the 88-inch puller. I had the two pieces swap. That's a two-piece kit. Now that we've got that out, we'll just back this off. One more time. Alright, so we're getting ready now to install our new bearing. Take a look at how many rollers are in the new bearing here compared to the old bearing here. Much better. Upgrade it while you got it apart. This is where the assembly lube comes out. Nice and cold out still, so it's pretty thick. You get a generous amount. I'm gonna work them all through the needles and those bearings, all over the outside. And now we're gonna get ready to press it in. I want the letters out. Good rule of thumb when installing a bearing or a seal or whatever. Letters out, so they're gonna go on the face of my tool. I like to kind of try to watch through the top or through the bottom to make sure I'm lining up properly. Looks like we got a pretty good start on it. Back it off here. Let this thing kind of line itself up, find its own home. Just know when you're going in, if it's tight, it ain't right. So we're just getting a little resistance there. We're gonna stop it there. And we got one bearing in. Swap it over. Perfect. I like what I see. weather's so nice right now. I'm about to go for a little motorcycle ride. Little morning, early afternoon coffee date with the wife. I'm gonna take my little homemade kit, just a mason jar, punched a hole in it. Took some RTV, a barb fitting, and I'm gonna drop my lifters in it. Okay, I'm gonna add a little more oil to that. I've actually been thinking about making a new version of this too, so I can hook up my my actual vacuum pump to it. But for now, I take my little hand pump, lock it on, squeeze it, and you see all the bubbles working out of there. So I'll do this for a little while. I'll let them soak, and then I'm gonna go, like I said, for a little ride. We'll pick up on this later today. I think I could pull enough of a vacuum by hand to shatter this glass. Doubt it. Alright, let's get ready to finally swap this cam. So we're gonna take off the tensioner. Tensioner's off. All we have here is one snap ring. Now our cam is going to come right out. Now you want your chains to face in the same direction of rotation. If they're going to be off for a little while, then mark them. I'm putting the cam right back in there, so we'll be okay. Now this is really the most important part, is making sure that all your marks are lined up. Oh. See that? Perfect. Put our snap ring back in. And as I said earlier in the video, this spacer may have to be changed out, but we're not going to know that until we have it back into the bike. Inspect the tensioner. We're going to get some Loctite, and I got to pull out the book and find the torque spec, and we're going to torque these down. Give me just a second, we'll do that here in a moment. These ones specifically call out for 100 to 120 inch-pounds. I'm gonna split it and shoot for 110. All right. We're gonna install our new O-ring in here. Let me get a rag. I'm gonna clean up some of that oil that's sitting in there. So there's two sets of gears in here, and they each have flat faces that line up with the flat face on the pinion shaft here. And you gotta make sure those are lined up, because if you try to force them in and those aren't lined up, you can watch one of my other videos where I was working on my Dyna, and I try to force it in and I split one of the gears apart. So all right, now my gears are in. So these gear sets, one of them is going to be your scavenge side, one of them is going to be your pressure side. Let's get my two O-rings in here. So I got some blue Loctite on these. I'm just going to start those for now. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are 90 to 120. So we'll do about 105. One. Six. Remember I said I was leaving these loose a little bit? We're gonna rotate this 3 times at a minimum. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's where we see if we have to realign our sprocket. I haven't even got my straight edge yet, but I can see that this thing is off. So this one looks like it's a 120. Okay, I have another 120 here. Got a couple 130s, a 150, 110, 110. Let's hope 130 is close. I think like a 125 would be ideal. And that's usually the problem. You got to buy a whole kit for these spacers. And you only use one out of it. And you pretty much always need the same size. See what 130 looks like. From a side profile, that looks like it's going to be pretty friggin' sweet. I'd like to find a thinner straight edge. Get that out of the way. I think a 130 is going to do it. Perfect. That's what I'm talking about. So, I mean, you can see here there's just different size thicknesses. They're all labeled on the front. Very important when replacing your cam, because if that alignment's off, what are you going to do? You're going to smoke that chain. That chain is just going to sit in there and grind side to side. You're going to put all that metal through your engine. And basically the cam job will be for nothing, because then you'll be looking at the cost of doing a big bore kit and welding and truing your crank and everything else because you're gonna destroy your engine. I'm gonna make this easy. While these are sitting here, I wanna get these lined up so they just pop right on. Boop, boop. For these, I like to get my cam sprocket in there. Lined up. Lined up. Just like that. Initial torque for both of these is going to be 15 foot-pounds. Found my 9/16 somewhere in my mess. Okay, and then we're gonna go up to 34/24. One of the things I forgot about these is you can get like a paper clip and pin those off so they don't move and fall out. The reason it's having a hard time setting in there, it's oil that pushes this thing up. It's only like 35 degrees out right now, so everything's moving real slow and stiff. But yeah, let's get this thing tightened down. I don't have my 3/8 Torx to be able to measure 100 inch-pounds on this thing, but I've been doing this quite a while. I know what 100 inch-pounds feels like. Oh, you sucker. Now the most important thing, before you go any further from right here, rotate your engine over. Make sure your chain's not jumping, binding, doing anything crazy like that. Because if you've got any alignment issues, it's going to tell you right here. I'd say we're looking pretty good. I've put them together before, where I've had like an O-ring pinch. Before you turn it over, you want to start it up. You can usually see your chain jump if it's binding anywhere. Let's drop our lifters in. Okay, so I've got the front on the base circle now. That's going to be critical for moving forward and adjusting push rods. Kidding me? This gasket set didn't come with those rockers or those tappet seals. Lucky for me, I hoard gaskets when I don't use them, and I've got a set here. These are some nice S&S ones too. Before I put the other side in, because I'm gonna have to wait to bleed these down a little bit, I'm gonna prep my push rods. Basically, I'm gonna assemble all these together, except I'm gonna be using the chrome caps off the old ones because it looks really good, the chrome on that black. Give me a minute here, I'm gonna prep all that, and we're gonna be adjusting push rods. Buried in my channel somewhere, I have a very detailed video on adjusting these push rods. I'm not gonna go crazy into it. You can watch that video and see step by step on what to do. All right, now we're not gonna do anything with that until it bleeds down a bit. I'm gonna start prepping the backside. You guys have already seen it. I'm not really talking much anyway. I'm gonna prep that backside, wait for these lifters to bleed down. I can rotate the engine over and do the back. All right, I've got the oil all topped off. And here's the nerve-wracking part. I've done so many cams, but every time I go to start them, it is just that what if feeling. There might be a little tick at first startup while we're getting oil pushed from the bottom to the top. Like I said, I've got the oil change, filter change, everything has been double, triple checked, sensors plugged back in. We should be ready to fire up. It is loud in here. Let me open the garage up. loud.